Hello everyone, welcome back to part 2 of Phenomenal Views about Maleficent. So, if you've watched part 1 of my review, you will know that the True Love's Kiss thing doesn't come from Philip. It comes from Maleficent! Maleficent kisses Aurora on her head and says, I am sorry that I have done this to you. I truly hope I don't expect your forgiveness. No harm will ever come to you if you ever awake from this curse. Okay. Once again, if this was new material, if we have never seen Maleficent before, this would be fine. This would be totally fine. But considering the fact it's a villain movie about the mistress of all evil, who summons powers from hell, who can turn into a dragon, and who tormented her minions for the heck of it, is Sleeping Beauty's first kiss! Okay, before this even happened, I honestly was thinking that it was going to be her servant, the bird. Devante, or whatever, because he says when he first meets her, I've been watching you grow up ever since you was a child, and I screamed, creepy! But I wouldn't have minded much if it was him, much more than I mind that it was Maleficent. Because if it was him, it would have made sense. This is just stupid. I could not express how much I wanted to walk out of the theater. When I seen Maleficent kiss, like, she doesn't kiss her on the lips, she kisses her on the head, but I was like, okay, you know, maybe it will be the bird guy. I was like, if Aurora wakes up from this, I will be furious. Oh, was I furious. I wanted to scream at the screen, but there was little kids in there, and I was not going to scream with little kids in there. So Aurora wakes up, and they try to escape, but then all of a sudden, another thing they don't explain, they drop a metal net on Maleficent, and for some reason, metal hurts her. If they would just explain, why does metal hurt her, for goodness sake, explain!
Just explain!
But they don't. They don't explain. Only thing we ever get about this is when Stefan touches Maleficent's hand and it burns her finger, and all I could hear her say was, I'm forever to a fairy, or something about her being with a fairy. I don't know. So then she decides to turn the crow into the dragon. So Aurora goes and finds Sleeping Beauty, or goes and finds Maleficent's wings that Stefan has had in a glass case that he has conversations to at night with. This guy's just a douchebag, because even when his wife is dying, he doesn't want to be disturbed. Alright. This is honestly how I would have handled it. The day is coming. I know when you're going to come, and I will kill you. I'm sorry to disturb you, sire, but the queen has asked for you. Go away. She doesn't think she'll make it through the night. What? My wife is dying! Have some compassion for your dang wife, you moron! Stefan was nothing like this in the original story, and I know this is an adaptation, but there is a limit. I don't mind the adaptation of the Lorax. I loved that adaptation. I loved the adaptation of the Grinch. But this? No. Only thing that works in this is Angelina Jolie. So, Aurora breaks the glass case that her wings are in. They go and they reattach themselves to Maleficent. Maleficent has a final battle with Stefan, but she takes him up to the castle. She spares him. He knocks her off, and then she gets him off of her. He falls to his death. The movie ends with Aurora being crowned queen, and turns out that it was Aurora telling the story the whole time about how fairies and humans reunite. And the movie ends. Okay. I'm gonna give Michael Bay credit. Even though his remakes are bad, and they are bad, in his adaptation of the prequel of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'm going to even give credit to his reimagining on A Nightmare on Elm Street. Why? Even Carrie. Why? Because if you want to have sympathy for a villain, that's fine. If you want to have sympathy for a villain, that's fine, but do it right and stick to the material. Even though the Platinum Dooms remakes and the prequel are not good movies, they at least got it right. Because in this film, which I have reviewed, yes, Leatherface is the bad guy, but we feel sorry for him because of the way how he grew up and for his skin condition. Even when he's chopping people up, we feel sorry for him. This is a sympathy villain done right. The fact I'm giving Michael Bay credit for a Platinum Dooms film tells you something. I may not like his remakes. This movie, however, I liked, and I even liked Transformers Dark of the Moon. But if you want to have sympathy for your villains, do it right. Do it right. Even in Friday the 13th, Part 2 did this. Part 2 did this with Jason as the killer. This did this right. Because they were talking about Jason and how he was brought back to life or something like that, and the girl was feeling sorry for him about his mother being killed. Even though he was a killer, she felt sorry for him. In Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the beginning, you feel sorry for Leatherface. Now, they got how Freddy Krueger became how he was in the remake, but they tried to make us sympathize with him. They did. And even though they didn't get it right, even though they didn't get the formula of how these characters were done right, or the movies weren't good, but at least they tried. I mean, yeah, they're not good movies, but they tried. The fact that I'm giving Michael Bay credit for a Platinum Dunes film, and the Platinum Dunes films aren't exactly that good, tells you something. Now, like I said in the beginning of the review in part 1, and I'm going to say this again, if this was original material that we'd never seen before, never heard of Maleficent or nothing like that, no Sleeping Beauty, nothing, this would have been okay. This would have been this would have been okay. If you watch it, if you're going to watch this film, and if you are a fan of the original material, you're going to have to watch it like you've never heard of it before. Like how, if you are a Halloween fan, you're going to have to watch the remake like you've never watched the original. Because that's the only way that you are going to get through it. I wanted to give this film hope, and the things that are good, they're good. With Angelina Jolie, sorry, I want to say Julianne Moore, but with Angelina Jolie as Maleficent, she owns it. She is Maleficent, but even though the character is written horribly wrong, she did her best, because you can tell she loved playing this character. She had a blast, and she was a blast as Maleficent when she was Maleficent. But guys, that's all I can say. I give this film a D-. I give it a D- because of Angelina Jolie, and because of the fact that you have to watch it in two ways. If you can watch it like you've never heard of Sleeping Beauty before, or you don't know anything about Maleficent, then watch this. But if you know the true story of Maleficent, this is just going to make you angry. Certainly made me furious, but once again, Angelina Jolie, perfect job, perfect casting choice. Guys, I am Nick Smith. This has been another episode of Phenomenal Views. Comment below. Tell me if you all have seen Maleficent. Tell me what you think about this film. Someone explain to me, how does metal hurt a fairy? I would like to know. No, I seriously, I would really like to know. Alright guys, have a good night.